If you have ever met an INFJ, you may have noticed something strange. They listen more than they speak. They watch everything. They feel things most people never notice. And sometimes, it almost seems like they can read your mind. INFJs are often called the rarest personality type in the world. In the Myers-Briggs personality system, INFJ stands for introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. But that simple label barely explains what goes on inside their minds. Because INFJs are different. Their inner world is deep, complex, quiet. Most of what they do unconsciously. They don't even realize they are doing it. Yet these small habits shape the way they think, the way they connect, and the way they move through life. In this video, we will explore 14 things INFJs unconsciously do. These are subtle behaviors, quiet patterns, things most people never notice. But once you see them, you cannot unsee them. If you are an INFJ, you may recognize yourself in many of these. And if you know an INFJ, you may finally understand why they sometimes seem so mysterious. 1. They constantly read the emotional atmosphere. INFJs walk into a room, and within seconds, they know how everyone feels. No one told them. No one showed them. Yet they feel it. This is one of the most powerful INFJ personality traits. Their minds are wired to detect emotional signals. Tiny changes in tone. A quick shift in body language. A pause that lasts half a second too long. Most people miss these details. INFJs absorb them instantly. Psychologists often link this to their dominant cognitive function, introverted intuition, combined with their strong empathy. Together, these create something powerful. An emotional radar. INFJs don't just see people, they sense them. If someone in the room feels anxious, the INFJ will notice. Even if that person is smiling. Even if they say nothing. And this awareness happens automatically. It is unconscious. Sometimes this gift feels beautiful. INFJs can comfort people before they even ask for help. They can offer the exact words someone needs. But sometimes, it is exhausting. Because they are always feeling what others feel. Imagine carrying not just your emotions, but everyone else's too. This is why many INFJs need quiet time alone. They are not being antisocial. They are simply resetting their emotional system. Silence gives their mind space to breathe. And for an INFJ, that space is essential. 2. They analyze conversations long after they end. Most people finish a conversation. Then they move on. But INFJs rarely do that. Hours later, the conversation returns to their mind. They replay it slowly. Sentence by sentence. Tone by tone. They think about what was said, and what was not said. This is a classic INFJ behavior. Their minds are naturally analytical, but not in a cold way. In a deeply emotional way. INFJs want to understand people, not just the surface words, but the deeper meaning behind them. So they ask themselves quiet questions. Did that person mean something else? Were they hiding something? Did I respond the right way? Could I have helped them more? This constant reflection is part of INFJ psychology. Their intuition is always searching for patterns, always connecting dots, always looking beneath the surface. Sometimes this helps them understand people with incredible accuracy. But sometimes, it creates overthinking. INFJs can replay a single moment dozens of times. Even a small comment, even a tiny misunderstanding. Their minds want clarity. They want emotional truth. And until they feel they understand it, their mind keeps working. Quietly, patiently, in the background. 3. They mirror the personalities around them. INFJs often seem different depending on who they are with. With one group, they are quiet and thoughtful. With another group, they are warm and playful. And with someone else, they may seem deeply philosophical. This can confuse people. Some wonder if INFJs are changing their personality. But that is not what is happening. INFJs are natural emotional mirrors. They unconsciously adjust their energy to match the person in front of them. If someone is shy, the INFJ becomes softer. If someone is excited, the INFJ becomes more expressive. If someone is serious, the INFJ becomes calm and reflective. This ability comes from their powerful empathy. They instinctively create emotional harmony. They want the other person to feel comfortable, seen, understood. So their mind adapts, without them even realizing it. But this also creates a strange experience for INFJs. Sometimes they wonder, who am I when no one else is around? Because they spend so much time adjusting to others. This is another reason solitude is important for INFJs. Time alone allows them to reconnect with their true inner voice. Without outside emotional signals. Without adaptation. Just themselves. And in those quiet moments, their real identity becomes clear again. 4. They predict outcomes before they happen. One of the most fascinating INFJ traits is their ability to anticipate events. They often sense where things are heading, long before others notice. This does not mean they can see the future, but their minds recognize patterns extremely well. INFJs constantly gather subtle information, behavior patterns, emotional signals, hidden motivations. Their intuition processes all of this quietly. And then, a feeling appears. A quiet inner knowing. Something tells them what will likely happen next. For example, an INFJ might sense tension growing between two friends. No one else notices yet. Everything still seems normal. But the INFJ feels it. Weeks later, the conflict appears. And people wonder how the INFJ knew. The truth is simple. They noticed the small signals others ignored. Their brain connected the dots. And their intuition formed a prediction. This ability can make INFJs excellent advisors. People often come to them for guidance. Because INFJs can see the emotional direction of situations. But sometimes this gift feels heavy. Because they may see problems coming that others refuse to believe. And watching something unfold exactly as expected can feel strangely lonely. 5. They search for deeper meaning in everything. INFJs rarely accept things at face value. Their minds naturally ask deeper questions. Why did this happen? What does this mean? What lesson is hidden here? This is one reason INFJs are often drawn to psychology, philosophy, and personal growth. They want to understand life on a deeper level. Small moments can trigger long reflections. A conversation, a book, even a quiet walk. Something simple may spark a chain of thoughts that lasts for hours. Their intuition constantly looks for meaning, patterns, purpose. For INFJs, life is not just a series of events. It is a story, a journey of growth, and every moment has something to teach. This is also why many INFJs feel different from others. While some people focus on surface details, INFJs focus on inner significance. They want to understand the human experience, the emotions behind choices, the deeper reasons people act the way they do. This search for meaning shapes almost everything they do. Their relationships, their careers, their goals. INFJs rarely want a life that feels empty or mechanical. They want purpose, something real, something meaningful. And this quiet inner search never really stops. 6. They absorb other people's emotions. INFJs often feel emotions that are not their own. They sit with someone who is hurting, and suddenly, they feel heavy. They meet someone excited, and they feel that excitement too. This is one of the most powerful INFJ traits. Many psychologists describe INFJs as emotional sponges. They absorb the emotional energy around them, sometimes without realizing it. A friend may tell them about a painful experience. The INFJ listens quietly. But inside, the emotion spreads. It becomes personal, almost as if the pain happened to them. This is why many INFJs are known as deep empaths. They do not just understand emotions intellectually. They feel them deeply, physically, emotionally. But this ability can also become overwhelming. When emotions pile up, INFJs can feel drained. They may not know why. Nothing bad happened directly to them. Yet they feel exhausted, heavy, emotionally full. That is when INFJs often retreat into solitude, not to escape people, but to clear emotional space. Silence helps them separate their feelings from everyone else's. And slowly, their inner calm returns. 7. They notice hidden motives. Most people focus on what others say. INFJs focus on why people say it. Their minds constantly look beneath the surface. They watch small signals, a hesitation, a strange smile, a tone that does not match the words. These tiny clues create patterns in the INFJ mind, and those patterns often reveal hidden motivations. For example, someone may appear friendly, but something feels slightly off. The INFJ notices it. They may not say anything immediately, but they quietly observe. And over time, the truth usually reveals itself. This is the power of introverted intuition, the dominant cognitive function of the INFJ personality type. It gathers subtle signals, then slowly builds a deeper understanding. Sometimes INFJs feel uncomfortable with this ability, because they see things others miss. They sense manipulation, insecurity, jealousy, or hidden kindness, even when it is carefully disguised. But this skill also helps them protect themselves, and protect the people they care about. Their intuition becomes a quiet guide, helping them navigate complex social situations, without loud confrontation, without drama, just awareness. 8. They give more than they receive. INFJs naturally focus on other people. Their attention flows outward. They ask thoughtful questions. They listen carefully. They remember details others forget. This makes them wonderful friends, supportive partners, compassionate listeners. But something interesting often happens. INFJs give far more emotional energy than they receive. They support others during difficult times. They offer encouragement, advice, understanding, yet they rarely ask for the same support. Not because they do not need it, but because asking feels difficult. Many INFJs are used to being the strong one, the calm one, the listener. And over time, this role becomes automatic, unconscious. But if this pattern continues too long, something inside begins to feel empty. Because even the most compassionate person needs support too. Healthy INFJs slowly learn an important lesson: balance. They learn that receiving care is not weakness. It is human. And allowing others to support them creates deeper relationships. Real relationships, where both people feel seen. 9. They imagine entire future scenarios. INFJs spend a lot of time in their minds. But their thoughts are not random. They are structured, visionary, future-focused. Their intuition loves to imagine possibilities. They picture future conversations, future decisions, future outcomes. Sometimes they imagine entire life paths. What would happen if I choose this career? What would happen if I move to a new place? What will this relationship look like in 5 years? Their mind explores every path quietly, like a simulation. This is another reason INFJs often appear thoughtful or distant, while others focus on the present moment. The INFJ mind is exploring the future. They are mapping possibilities, predicting consequences, preparing emotionally. This ability can make INFJs excellent planners. They see long-term patterns clearly, but it can also create worry. Because when you imagine many futures, you also imagine many problems. And sometimes the mind gets stuck in those possibilities. The healthiest INFJs learn something important. Not every future needs to be solved today. Sometimes life must unfold naturally, one step at a time. 10. They crave deep conversations. Small talk can feel draining for INFJs, not because they dislike people, but because surface conversations feel incomplete. They prefer depth, meaning, real connection. Ask an INFJ about their dreams, their beliefs, their life story, and suddenly, the conversation becomes alive. This is when INFJs truly engage. They love exploring ideas, philosophy, psychology, human behavior, personal growth. Meaningful conversations feel energizing, because they reveal the inner world of another person. And for INFJs, the inner world is always the most interesting part. However, this desire for depth can make social situations tricky. Many everyday conversations stay at the surface. Weather, work, casual updates. INFJs participate politely, but internally, they long for something deeper. A moment of honesty, a moment of vulnerability, a real exchange of thoughts and emotions. When INFJs find someone who enjoys these deeper discussions, something special happens. They open up. Their thoughts flow freely. Their curiosity expands. And suddenly the quiet INFJ becomes an incredible conversationalist. Because when the topic has meaning, their mind becomes limitless. Being an INFJ often feels like living between two worlds. One world is quiet and internal, filled with intuition, reflection, and deep emotional awareness. The other world is external, filled with people, conversations, expectations, and constant stimulation. And every day, INFJs move carefully between these two spaces. Much of what they do happens unconsciously. They read emotions without trying. They notice patterns others miss. They sense hidden meanings behind ordinary moments. To the outside world, these behaviors can seem mysterious, sometimes even confusing. But for INFJs, this is simply how their mind works. Their intuition is always searching for understanding. Their empathy is always reaching toward others. Their inner world is always asking deeper questions. Why do people feel the way they feel? What motivates human behavior? What is the deeper purpose behind this experience? These questions quietly guide the INFJ personality type throughout life. But being deeply intuitive and empathetic is not always easy. Absorbing emotions can be exhausting. Overthinking conversations can feel endless. And constantly searching for meaning can sometimes feel lonely. Because not everyone sees the world through this lens. Yet this rare perspective is also the INFJ's greatest strength. They bring compassion where others bring judgment, insight where others see confusion, and quiet understanding where others might overlook someone's pain. In a world that often moves quickly and speaks loudly, INFJs offer something different: stillness, depth, and genuine human connection. So if you are an INFJ, remember this. Your mind is not strange. Your sensitivity is not weakness. And your need for meaning is not a flaw. These qualities are part of what makes the INFJ personality so powerful. The world needs people who listen deeply, who see the unseen, who understand the emotions hidden beneath the surface. And sometimes the very things that make INFJs feel different are the same things that allow them to make a lasting difference in the lives of others.